Colombia has a lot to offer anyone who is looking for a new adventure. Cartagena de Indias, its jewel on the Caribbean coast, the sprawling cities of Bogota and Medellin, full of life and stories to tell, or Salento and its famous Valle de Cocora. These are just some of the wonders you can find in this South American country. But Colombia is also famous outside of its borders for its renowned coffee. More than 650 million kilos are exported each year, mainly to Europe and to the United States. Most of the Colombian black gold is produced in an area of 150 square kilometers in the western part of the country, called the Coffee Triangle. 10% of the world's coffee is produced here, in the mountains and in the fertile valleys of the cities of Manizales, Pereira, and Armenia. In 2010, Ivanov, a native Colombian working as a veterinarian in the U.S., decided to come back to his country and to embark on a new journey so as to leave a legacy for his daughters, who were born far away from their roots. He bought a small piece of land around Manizales and started to rebuild, stone by stone, the old rural property that was practically nothing but grassland before. And so was born the Café Tio Conejo Finca, which now, 5 years later, has grown considerably. But Café Tio Conejo is much more than a company trying to find its way in the business of coffee in Colombia. It is about roots, earth, environment, and above all, sharing with others. In addition to Ivanov's family, who is living in the main house, 16 other people live and work on the property. Don Ulises and his wife, 3 of their sons, and 2 of their grandchildren occupy the house overlooking their land. Further down the property, John, another of Don Ulises' sons, lives with his wife and 2 kids, and Olimpo, another worker, settled in another house with his family. During harvest season, up to 8 other people come to work on the plantation. But throughout the year, Ivanov welcomes people from all over the world, providing those willing to help and wishing to discover his finca, with lodging, food, and a rewarding experience. Working here is like being part of one big happy family. Waking up with the sun, taking a cold shower, enjoying the amazing view of the coffee plantations and of the wild, endless valley, admiring the grace of the vultures that fly above the mountains, tasting the Smira's breakfast of eggs, plantains, and local coffee after finally reaching the top of the hill overlooking the property, listening to Don Ulises' advice and experience so as to understand the ins and outs of coffee farming, helping him and his sons grow the finca in any way possible, by moving materials, painting buildings, cutting wood, or by sowing, reaping, and processing the coffee grains. Listening to Ivanov explain all of the steps needed to make a delicate coffee. Learning to distinguish the good beans from the bad, as well as the different ways to process the coffee depending upon whether it will be shipped to the rest of Colombia, to the US, to Europe, or to Arabic countries. Recycling every bit of leftover material to make a natural and organic compost that will be reused. Sharing meals with Ivanov's family. Talking with Esperanza and Joanna while giving them a hand with the cooking or with the dishes. Taking a break to play with Panela or with the cats. Picking oranges, papayas, or bananas for a light snack when the sunshine gets too hot. Getting cold at nightfall, gazing at the stars, listening to the sound of the silence, to the murmurs of the wind, and to the rustling of the nature surrounding this place. Working here is embracing another way of life, enjoying a new definition of time, escaping from the everyday routine, getting back to the earth, plain and simple, the real earth. The best way to experience Colombia in all its glory.